Hey guys, today we're gonna... Hello! What? Oh, this thing isn't working. No. Today we're gonna be playing some creative fills.
There's only one original stuffed crust, and it's only from Pizza Hut. The only place.
This isn't even fun.
Let's go. I'm back here, Justin. Just thinking.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Yes, I'm not going to speak too long in this intro. Other than we're back messaging bounties. Yes, I did this about 3-4 weeks ago and you guys absolutely loved it. It got 25,000 likes, so it's only right to come back. And it is actually pretty fun. But yes, quick shout out to everybody using code HJDugan.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. You know it's one of my favorite things to break down horror movies, and today we're going to be
Taking a look at Saw 3. Let's see if it actually is Saw 3.
look at the seventh installment in the Saw series, Saw 3D. This movie was supposed to
Oh, Saw 3D.
franchise
That's Saw
legacy and
3D.
first puzzles that Jigsaw has to offer. And we finally arrive at the end of Hoffman's story. In Saw 7, we follow Bobby Dagan, an author profiting off the Jigsaw name by falsely claiming that he was tested by the killer. Well, now he needs to go through a series of traps for real as a punishment for the numerous lies he told. In this video, we'll cover all the traps he encounters and determine the best ways to survive. The movie starts off with Lawrence Gordon, the doctor from the first movie. He cut his leg off and now tries to find a way out of the torture dungeon by crawling on the floor. Eventually, he comes across a steaming hot pipe. Dr. Gordon slowly puts his leg stomp on the pipe to close his wound. Following the title card, we count the Hoffman stitching his cheek together after pulling his face out of the reverse bear trap in Saw 6. He sews the wound shut and appears to be alright. Then we get to the first trap, located in a public storefront. In it are two guys chained to a table and a woman on the ceiling. They wake up and see all the people looking at them and wonder what's happening. Suddenly the puppet comes out on a tricycle and in 60 seconds one of them has to die. The two other guys are chasing a chainsaw, one pointing at Brad, and the other
I pumped him!
the saw blades to try and kill each other to have cleanup for themselves. All three blades are ready, so when the saw blades when it dies, the saw blades as well. The next starts with the blades looking for life, not the other person. She loves either one of them and only cares about herself. The two guys decide that they should kill her. They position the third blade towards Dina and wait for it to move up all the way to saw her in half. Was this trap something that could have been beaten? Well, for starters, Brad and Ryan were not strapped down tightly. They had quite a bit of room to move. It seems that one of them could have maneuvered his body in such a way that the blade would have gone under their arm. This would save everyone involved with only minimal injuries. The police also arrive as their timer runs out, so they can help. And by the way, throughout the entire movie, the blood has this slightly weird shade of pink. That's not my editing, that's the movie. Then we see an interview with the author, Bobby. His book is about his experience as a victim of Jigsaw, but it becomes clear that he's hiding something that he's not. Later that week, he sets up a televised meeting for other survivors. There, one of the women tells the group about her trap. In a flashback, we see her and a man named Alex. Both of them are suspended several feet above the floor in a room covered with upturned lawnmowers. As the blades below them spin, their only lifeline was the bar from which they hung, but it was covered in pointy metal parts which cut into their hands. For one of them to
Didn't mean to
survive,
jump
the other had to
in.
let go. The woman managed to survive this by slapping Alex off the bar, thus with a little to go on. However, looking at their surroundings, they can maybe push themselves away from the lawnmowers so that they land next to them. We see that not the entire floor is covered with turning blades, and towards the edges are free spaces on normal lawnmowers, which would have been safer to land on. But due to the lack of information given in the film, it's definitely a little harder to determine, so my solution isn't the best. As the meeting comes to an end, Dr. Gordon reveals himself in a dark corner of the room and acts quite suspicious. He tells Bobby how happy he is to be a part of his promotional DVD, ending his speech in a sarcastic, slow laugh. During the evening after the meeting, Bobby walks to his car in a parking lot, but he gets kidnapped. Then we get this seemingly four friends wake up in a garage. One of them, Evan, is glued to a car seat while the remaining three are placed around them. The car Evan is sitting in is lifted up while his girlfriend is underneath the tire. One of his friends is tied to a pole with his limbs chained to the car, and the other guy is fixed to the garage door. Evan is told that if he doesn't bend forwards and pull this lever, the chain reaction will kill all four of them. But Evan is glued to the car seat and needs to rip off his own back to get them split. On top of that, he's only given 30 seconds to do this. As the time ticks away, he slowly leans forward to wait for the lever, but it's just too far away. He rips off more and more of his skin, but can't seem to quite get there. When the timer runs out, the car drops on his girlfriend and crushes her face. It then drives off, causing the man who's chained to the vehicle to lose his limbs. The guy by the garage door gets run over, and when Evan finally crashes, he's thrust out and he too dies. Here, Evan has two big advantages that could help him. The trap could have been beaten if Evan used his legs instead of his arms to pull the lever. We see that while his back is glued to the seat, his legs are free to move, and the door to the car is open as well. So Evan can move his leg out the window and pull the lever by the front with his foot. His leg is longer than his arm, giving him those few extra inches that he needs to reach it. We go back to Bobby as he wakes up and finds himself in a big cage. The TV turns on and Jigsaw tells him that he knows that he's a liar. They both know that even though Bobby presents himself as a Jigsaw survivor, he was never tested, nor was he a part of any trap. But tonight he will not only go through one, but multiple tests to save his wife and his friends. He has 60 minutes to complete the game, otherwise his wife will die. Suddenly the cage he's in gets pulled off the floor and hangs from the ceiling. Shortly after, metal spikes appear below him. Bobby finds a handle above him that releases the bottom to escape, nearly dropping him onto the blades. Fortunately, he was able to hang from the cage and swing his body back and forth to jump and land past the spike area of the floor. This one seems simple enough, but when looking at it, there was another course of action. When we see the whole trap, the cage wasn't hanging that far over the blades. On top of that, the spikes were spaced out very liberally, and so Bobby could have climbed further down the cage, which would have left him less than 3 feet off the floor. Then he can drop down between the spikes without hurting himself. He goes further into the dungeon, and then the victim of this trap is Nina, Bobby's publicist. She blew up the spikes and put them out there anyway. Here, she's strapped to a chair with spikes pointed at the neck that slowly impale her, and Bobby doesn't see her in time. The shut off her the spikes with a lock on it, that strip is hanging out of her mouth, meaning that the hook is inside her stomach. Bobby has 60 seconds to hold his breath and rip the hook with the key from her stomach. The catches of the spikes are also triggered to that so if Nina screamed too much, she would not. He tries pulling the fishhook as hard as possible, but he can't remove it so quickly. The woman also screams aloud, so he constantly needs to cover her mouth so that the spikes don't come any closer. Then is what I consider to be one of the most disturbing things ever.
I'm trying to move the stairs. Oh, this is the worst creator ever. You can't even find a good creator server.
Bobby violently pulls out the hook with the key, but the time runs out and she gets stabbed by the spikes. Luckily, this device can be beat. In the movie, he could get the key out, but it was just a bit too late. But what if they would have been able to buy a little more time? By grabbing some items from around the room, it may be possible to put them around her neck, avoiding impalement. There are many wooden and metal items laying around that he can put in between her and the spikes. Yes, it may have choked her a bit, but it would have given Bobby more time to get the lock off the machine. Another way to avoid the spikes entirely is to jam the gears that move the rods closer to her. The room is full of random objects which you can stuff in between the gears. Stopping